Today's topic, machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that enables systems to learn from data and improve their performance over time without being explicitly programmed for every scenario. Here's a very quick overview of how it works. You have input data, so the model is given historical or real-time data. Training, it uses this data to find patterns or relationships. The model, a mathematical model, is built to make predictions or decisions. Evaluation, the model is tested and refined based on performance. And prediction, the trained model can now make predictions on new data.
If you're flying solo, no worries. We've got your back. You are never alone on this journey. Otherwise, let's turn this into a family game night so we can build confidence, spark curiosity, and have fun. Ready? Okay, let's go.
True or false? Machine learning can predict outcomes from data patterns. That's true. Machine learning uses algorithms to analyze large data sets efficiently. True or false? Supervised learning uses labeled data for training models. That's true. Supervised learning relies on labeled data to train accurate models. Research classification and regression, for example, linear regression and decision trees. True or false? Neural networks are inspired by the human brain. That is true. Neural networks mimic the human brain to solve complex problems. Research foundations of deep learning, for example, MLPs and activation functions. True or false? Machine learning requires no data to function properly. Of course, this is false. Machine learning depends on high-quality data for accuracy. True or false? Unsupervised learning uses labeled data for training. This is false. Unsupervised learning identifies patterns in unlabeled data. Research clustering and dimensionality reduction. Also research k-means and PCA. True or false? Machine learning is only used in the tech industry. That's false. Machine learning is not just used for tech, it's used in various industries. True or false? Reinforcement learning involves rewards and penalties. That is true. Reinforcement learning uses rewards to improve decision making. Research learning via rewards and punishment, for example, Q-learning and policy gradings. True or false? Machine learning can improve over time with more data. Yes, of course, that's true. Machine learning adapts to new data, improving over time. True or false? Overfitting happens when a model learns too little from data. That's false. Overfitting occurs when models learn too much from training data. True or false? Machine learning models cannot be updated after training. That's false. Machine learning models can be updated with new data and insights. True or false? Decision trees are a popular machine learning algorithm. That's true. Decision trees are a widely used algorithm in machine learning. True or false? Machine learning cannot be used to detect fraudulent activities. That is false. Machine learning detects fraud by identifying anomalous patterns. True or false? Machine learning models always deliver accurate predictions. Of course, this is false. Bias in training data can lead to biased machine learning models. True or false? Machine learning models can autonomously generate new data by scanning the internet and collecting real-world data to improve its performance. That's false and far from being true. While some models, particularly in reinforcement learning, can interact with environments and learn from new data in real time, they don't have the ability to autonomously search the internet or collect data. True or false? After a machine learning model is trained on facial recognition, it is able to identify any face. That's not completely true and a bit misleading. While facial recognition models can indeed identify people in images or videos, they still require a reference database of known faces to compare against. True or false? Deep learning models can instantly learn to speak any language fluently by just being exposed to written text from books and articles online. This is false. While deep learning models like GPT, that's Generative Pre-trained Transformer, can understand and generate text in multiple languages, learning a language is not instant. True or false? Clustering is a technique used in unsupervised learning. That's true. Clustering groups data points in unsupervised learning. True or false? Machine learning can help in natural language processing. That's true. Natural language processing uses machine learning to analyze text. True or false? Machine learning can identify patterns in large data sets. Yes, of course, that's true. Machine learning identifies patterns in large data sets for predictions. True or false? Machine learning can improve customer experience in businesses. Of course, that's true. Machine learning improves customer experience by analyzing behavior. True or false? Machine learning ties drones to crops. Kind of true. Machine learning predicts crop health and uses drones and sensors to do it. True or false? Machine learning relies on a new class of ML data for training. That's false. Machine learning relies on data, just the same data you've always known. True or false? Machine learning ties algorithms to traffic. That is true. Traffic management is optimized using machine learning algorithms. Machine learning is tied to fake news. Well, that may be true in more ways than one, but specifically, fake news detection uses machine learning to analyze content authenticity. True or false? Machine learning can help optimize supply chain logistics. Yes, of course, that's true. Manufacturing processes are optimized through machine learning. True or false? Machine learning is tied to cybersecurity. That's true. Machine learning is increasingly becoming a game changer in cybersecurity. True or false? Machine learning can assist in medical diagnosis and research. That's true. The healthcare industry uses machine learning across this industry. True or false? Machine learning predicts equipment downtime. That's true. Machine learning predicts equipment failures to avoid downtime. True or false? Education can be personalized. Of course, that's true. Personalized education uses machine learning to adapt to students' needs. True or false? Machine learning is tied to energy use. That's true. Machine learning reduces carbon footprints by managing energy use. Okay, pros. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. See you next time. Great job, pros. Congratulations, you made it to the end. Here's to you for taking the quiz and stepping into the future with AI. Here's to your willingness to have a new perspective, a new prospective, to experience new possibilities. Let's keep outpacing the challenges ahead. And if you've learned anything new, please hit the like button, subscribe and grow with us, and turn on notifications so that you never miss a way to stay ahead. Drop a comment. Let us know what we're doing right and maybe what we're doing not so right. Your comments and your opinions matter. And if you're enjoying the journey, follow along for even more ways to sharpen your edge. Let's push forward together, pros. I'll see you next time. All right, baby. AI.